Hi, this is Rose, and you're listening to the Sovereign Soul podcast. I support awakening souls live beyond ego and limitation so that they can know true freedom. Freedom means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and my opinion of freedom is definitely about the internal prison that we hold ourselves a slave to, and how to break free from that. Where does that prison come from? And it has many different layers from what I've seen. And how do we truly become free people in that the things that happen around us have no power over our peace, over our happiness, and also, I said, the things around us, or the things we're experiencing, and then, of course, the world that we're living in. Now, my life has shown me that the complete opposite of freedom is control, when someone or something is controlling you or manipulating you to have control over you. And I would say that most of what goes on in the world is a manipulation. You don't have to look far to see that. Although a lot of people probably don't want to believe that they're manipulated. They live in that space of cognitive dissonance. They want to believe that the things they want are their own original ideas, when it's not. I mean, society puts everything onto us of what we need to do and how we need to feel and behave and think and respond, and in order to be good citizens, or to be worthy of heaven, or be a success in life, or be a good parent, or be a likable human being. We all have so much stuff that we are put on. The way we dress, the stuff we watch, what we eat, all of it is influenced by the world around us. And the bigger the grasp of media is in our life, which is pretty fucking huge now. Everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a computer, everybody's got a tablet, everybody's like hooked up to the net constantly. So we are constantly bombarded by media, which influences us constantly. And I don't even know how many people realize that. I mean, I love watching movies. I was a child that was brought up in the 80s and the 90s, and trust me, I was raised with a TV. And when video machines came out, then we had a video machine and we would watch videos and all of that kind of stuff. So I am fully raised by that part of media, and I still watch it. But I watch things differently now. I understand that stuff influences the way I think and feel, and I use discernment of what I think is helping me and what is not helping me. Discernment is a really important thing to master in your life, in anything. And one of the biggest factors for discernment for me is empowerment. Does that make me feel empowered about myself, that I've been educated about myself, that I know how to stand on my own 2 feet as a really good human being even better? Or does it completely disempower me? Tell me I need things outside of myself to be whole and happy and sovereign, which is ironic because most people who follow religion believe that sovereignty is from God, and God is the actual true sovereign. And in the case of Christianity, I guess Jesus is the sovereign. I don't know, or it's one and the same thing. But my logic says something completely different. And I mean, I know this pisses people off because religion is something that is so dear to people's hearts. And I was raised Christian. I know what it feels like to be totally afraid that I'm not going to be good enough to get into heaven. And to be quite honest, I don't do things anymore from that space of motivation. And I did for most of my life. I wanted to be a good, godly human being because I thought that was like an ideal. I've always been born with a connection to a spirituality. Like that's always been in me. And the way that it was presented to me was through religion in my family. Not that we were madly religious while I was growing up, but it was there all the time. And because it was my only connection to what I felt was the divinity, to God, and I thought that God was the be all and the end all, that made me feel, I don't know, like a thread of hope in myself for the life I was living. So I know what it is to be brought up with religion and to hold it really dear to your heart. But the further I've gone along on my journey, the less it makes sense to me, to the point where I just can't even logically get my brain around it anymore. Like, even it's like there's no part of my intellect that goes, oh yes, I can understand that. It makes zero sense. And I am a person who, strangely, even though if you've listened to any of my other episodes, you would know some of the stuff, like, it might sound so way out, but it makes sense to me. Like, there is an order under the chaos that makes absolute sense in my way of thinking. And religion is quite the opposite of that, in my opinion. I find it massively disempowering. So disempowering. And that to me is like the biggest red flag. It is this huge scam. And then, of course, the part that really freaks me out is the part that you have to give your soul to God, to Jesus, in order for you to get to heaven. Like, you have to have your soul saved. It doesn't make any fucking sense in my brain, because religion also teaches you that people are bad. People are born into original sin. Who made these ideas and these concepts up? It's the same idea of the Jews and the Arabs fighting. You know, it's like the Muslims and the Jews always going to be at like, what's it called? At loggerheads with one another, just because of an idea of a piece of land. I mean, fucking hell. Like, you could have just taken another piece of land if that one was taken. You'd have to fight for another 1,000 years to get the land when you eventually got there, like after being enslaved in Egypt and crossing deserts. And then you get there and then the person goes, yeah, no, God said this is the land. And like, we are the chosen ones. I mean, how can there be one chosen nation on the planet? That in itself is just utterly ludicrous and really disempowering for the rest of the people. And I believe that people are equal. And if people believe that God created everyone, then God must be loving everyone. You can't just choose some, and that it's only the ones who believe in a certain way. So I think there's elements of truth, but on the whole, it's not very inclusive, and it's certainly not very empowering. I find it very unkind and very illogical. And I choose to be who I am because that's who I am in my heart. I'm not doing it because I want to get into heaven, or because I think God is watching, or because I want the neighbors to think I'm a good person, or because I want the, community to think I'm good, or the church. It's like, I don't care about any of that stuff. And if somebody says to me, well, is it worth your soul? Like, if you die and you have to go burn in the fiery pits of hell for the rest of the festival, I don't believe I'm going to burn in the fiery pits of hell. If God is that small-minded and so fucking ego-centric that it needs every person to do good in his name only, I would say he's got some real fucking issues. And if I'm going to burn in the fiery pits of hell for being a good person, wow, that is just insane. And honestly, I don't believe the fiery pits of hell exist. I do believe we put ourselves through hell while we're living on this earth, and most people are living it. So this is probably, it's already getting on to 10 minutes. I'll try to keep these things under 15. But ultimately, I think I'm probably going to just leave this one here. I could speak about all the reasons why I find religion illogical. And it's not because I'm trying to convince anybody else to believe what I believe, because that's none of my business. I want people to be free. I want people to be free in their souls and in their minds and in their hearts. I want them to think for themselves. I want them to be good people because they're good people and they know it's the right thing to do. And I believe everybody knows the right thing to do. You just have to do it. And unfortunately, people try to do the right thing based on everything around them and not from that discernment inside of their own hearts. So we're going to kind of let go of all the external chatter and stop trying to fit in and realize that there's something forcing us to try to fit in. Because when we can all just be our own gorgeous, authentic, lovely selves, which are all going to be nice because everybody actually knows the right thing and we all trust ourselves, we're not bypassing the responsibility of our own growth, because religion does that in a big way. Oh wait, let me quickly tell that story. So when I was about 21, I was having major panic attacks, and I landed up going to see like as many churches as I could because that was all I knew. I only knew religion, and I thought like, oh my God, I am such an awful person, and the depths of hell are trying to steal me away. And I went and I spoke to a minister, and she told me that if you believe in Jesus, you don't have to worry because your sins are all forgiven. And I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? She's like, well, every day if you pray to Jesus, your sins are forgiven. I was like, but does that mean that people can just go molest children and then it's all fine? I was a 21-year-old girl, and that was my logic. And that really made me relook at the whole Christian perspective on life, because I was like, that's just saying to people you don't have to take any accountability for what you're doing. That didn't make sense to me. I never heard from her again. I was supposed to have another meeting. She was supposed to get hold of me, and I don't think she liked the way I challenged her. But ultimately, think about it. You are responsible for what you do to other people, and you should be doing the right thing because it's the right thing. And you certainly shouldn't be hiding behind religion, which people can do, to make themselves look good, but actually deep down they're quite yucky and ugly. You could have changed the inside yucky and ugly and become a much better person. And religion, I don't think really teaches that completely. And I'm not saying nobody gets that from it, because people do, but ultimately religion is just a disempowering tool used to control the masses through fear. So that's that. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I also have tons of resources for people to get to know yourself, to understand lessons of spiritual awakening, to understand your ego, self-awareness tools. I've got courses on personal development, loads of free information. So please reach out if you are looking for free resources. And if you want to work with me, you can also reach out to me. I do one-on-one coaching sessions or mentoring, and I also do longer programs, and I do energy healing sessions. Okay, thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.